What's up? How's it going? My name is Jesse Lynch. This video is going to be a little bit self-declaration and a little bit educational. I think, frankly, it's mostly a stream of consciousness. I have some bullet points written down, but my goal with this is basically to lay out some of my goals for the next year. And a lot of this is because, so there was just a real estate conference called the Blueprint, Real Estate Video Blueprint, right? I'm a huge believer in video, as this channel is evidence of, but this channel is just the tip of the iceberg of the video that I've done in terms of real estate, specifically on YouTube. I run 5 different real estate teams around the country. To the Twin Cities is my first and sort of primary one. And then I have 4 expansion teams. Welcome to Denver. Welcome to Salt Lake City. Welcome to San Diego. It's crazy that I'm forgetting. And welcome to Tennessee. I'm always trying to grow that and find agents who want to work with me, who see the value in what I do. And I totally understand that just on this YouTube channel, it's still so new that I'm not expecting anybody watching this right now to sort of pick up the phone and call me or shoot me an email based on what you're seeing on this channel. But those other channels, the proof is in the pudding. I've been in real estate for just over 3 years now, have closed over 150 transactions, and probably over 150 transactions in one single market. And yeah, that frankly, that number is a little old at this point. But nonetheless, my use of video has been absolutely life-changing in my real estate career. Also, if you haven't watched some of the other videos, I'm trying not to say so I'm also trying to get better at speaking without editing. And so part of that is making videos where I don't edit. I just press record, I say hi, and I start talking. And I'm trying to stop using words like and like as crutches between my words. Just because I saw something I did a while ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, and thought, I don't like that. So this is part of that process, and I appreciate you watching, appreciate you dealing with an unedited video. But I do think that I'll be able to get to a place where I don't need to edit, where the videos aren't wildly uninteresting without me editing and chopping away the dead spaces. So anyhow, this video, that's funny. I also trained myself out of saying the word anyways, because I don't think that's the correct word to say. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I realize that anyways is like a kind of a bullshit segue, and so I trained myself out of it, and I'm trying to do the same with the word and like. Okay, so there's this video, real estate video blueprint conference that I actually, a good friend of mine, he watches this channel, also does YouTube, also just a very successful agent, savvy, knows what's up. His name is Joe Schwartzbauer. Feel free to follow him if you want, and if what he has is what you're looking for. And hey Joe, by the way, if you're watching this, he invited me to go to this video blueprint thing, and I really wanted to go, and unfortunately I couldn't, because I leave for Ireland it's the 16th, 11 days, which is great, and I'm very excited. I can't wait to go, but I have so much shit to get done between now and then that there just was no way I was going to be gone for 2 or 3 days with everything I got going on. So I was thinking about that blueprint, kind of a little bit of FOMO, kind of wishing that I could go, kind of feeling bummed, a little bit like, man, that would have been cool. I know I would have found very good value in that. But as I was thinking more and more about it, I thought, you know what, next time I have the option to go, I want to speak at it. So that's a pretty ambitious goal, maybe even stupidly ambitious, especially if you're just looking at this channel, which has 27 subscribers right now. But I have found a great deal of success through video in the real estate world, and I think I have a lot to offer. I mean, that's literally why I started this channel. It's because I realized that I have something to offer people who may be, more than anything, look at normal real estate agents and think, that's not what I'm trying to do. And to the point where maybe somebody could absolutely crush it, change their life for the better, and absolutely love their time in real estate, but they see the average agent, and they think, I don't want to do that. That's bullshit. That's nonsense and stupid and cheesy and vanilla, and I don't want to be a part of that. And I get it. I think, though, however, if that is you out there, that is a superpower in the real estate world. Feeling so different than the mainstream is an absolute superpower, and I would advise you, I don't know about advice, but I'd like to encourage you to consider getting into real estate. If that's a thought that you have of like, I think I'd be good at that, but that sort of world is bullshit, okay, I tend to agree, but I think that's a superpower. So don't be afraid to get in for that alone. Come in, be authentic, be yourself, and you will stand out, and it will benefit you a lot. So what I want to talk about in this video is sort of why and how maybe mostly how I intend to speak at that conference next. And if it doesn't come to fruition, it's all good, but my goal of being there next year will propel me and will push me to do more on this channel and other social media outlets, and it will push me to just achieve more and fight for more, which I think is a very valuable proposition. So first of all, like, what do I got to do? Like, how do I get from 27 subscribers on this YouTube channel to speaking at a thing in front of a bunch of people in 1 year? And for one, I have to continue to hone in what my sort of personal brand is on this YouTube channel and continue to provide value to people like yourselves who are watching this, which I have a lot. I know that I have a lot of value to provide, and I have a unique view on how to crush it in real estate, specifically with video, but just with branding and marketing and all that. So frankly, I find that part to be very, very fun and very exciting and sort of exhilarating. So I'm not particularly concerned about that aspect of things. So also, apologize if I'm reading. I got some notes. I will, part of it I think is just the content, right? And I always say content's a dirty word, so I got to be careful with it. But I will continue to put out helpful content, right? Content that is actually valuable, that's not fluff, that's not throwaway nonsense, because there's plenty of that to go around, right? There's plenty of that in the real estate space, and just as most in the agent space, there's plenty of, vanilla bullshit. In the educational space, there's plenty of vanilla bullshit. So that will be my goal, to not be vanilla bullshit, okay? And that, although that sounds like an interesting ice cream flavor or something like that, sounds like a hipster, like a hipster ice cream store. Maybe someday I can have my own branded ice cream and I'll call it vanilla bullshit. Because frankly, I do prefer vanilla ice cream over chocolate ice cream for sure. So in addition to sort of making my own content, I need to grow my personal brand among other agents, among people who are in the space, right? And how am I going to do that? Well, with a lot of hard work. So my goal is to be a guest on multiple podcasts this year and to sort of try to begin to ramp that up. I've wanted to do it for a long time, but I never really had anything that I could say, go here to see what I'm doing, right? I've been asked to be on podcasts, and there was one podcast that maybe right away in starting real estate, I said, by year 2, I want to be on that podcast. I'm not going to name it because it's weird, but a year in, I was like, hey, here's where I'm at. And the dude who runs it was like, hey, cool, sign up and I'll have you on. And I followed him on social media since like day one. Then he was like, yeah, I'd love to have you on. You're crushing it. So I didn't take him up on that, right? And now maybe I will. That's probably one of the sort of micro goals. But to network that way and to grow this part of the brand that way. This is very meta, right? If you're watching this video after you heard me on some podcast, you're like, whoa, that's weird. He's talking about doing that now, and this is however long ago. That's true. I haven't done any of that yet, and I do intend to do it, and I believe that will grow my footprint, that will grow the magnet that is this platform, my personal brand in general, which also simultaneously, hopefully, will grow my team locally in the Twin Cities, and it will grow my national reach and my expansion teams as well, right? Siren, we're doing it live. Who cares? It's in the city. It's nighttime. It's 8:45 p.m. If you're wondering, this is a busy intersection. We'll just let it go by. So I also intend to do my best to speak at other masterminds. I did one, 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago, whatever. Time is fast, moves quickly. Time is fast. Poet. And I really enjoyed it. Again, I said too many times, and that got in my head. But that is something that I want to do more and more. I want to be able to share what's in my brain in terms of branding and video and blah, 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 as much as I possibly can. And so hopefully some of that is on smaller masterminds, which, by the way, if you want to have me on, reach out, Jesse at To The Twin Cities, or at I Am Jesse Lynch on Instagram, and comment here, whatever. I'll get a hold of you. That does sound like a lot of fun. And then in addition to being a guest on masterminds and the likes and podcasts, I intend to start my own mastermind, which I think, hear me out, I think there's a way to turn that into a podcast. Maybe not. Maybe it's just videos, but most of these videos could be podcasts. You don't need to see me, right? I'm just talking. So potentially that is a route that I will take. Actually, if you were listening, you wouldn't see me looking down at notes, so maybe that'd be even better. And then additionally, once I cap at Real, which is coming up, it'll happen pretty soon. I've been there a little over 2 months. It'll be there, right around the corner. And so once I cap, then I can teach at Real Academy, which, by the way, if you don't know what Real is, this page is not a recruiting page or an attraction page. That's not my intention with this page. But I do think Real is really cool. I've been there 2 months. I just put a video out about sort of a 2-month update. I have some negative aspects about it that haven't gone super, super smoothly, but honestly, a good amount of that is on me. If you have any desire to come to Real, I'd love to chat with you about it. And maybe it's a good fit for you. Maybe it's not. Maybe you could join my team directly. That'd be sick. Whether that's in the Twin Cities or somewhere else around the country, you could join an expansion team. We can crush it for you pretty much wherever you are. That's a very exciting thing about Real, is that like national nature of it, really international nature of it. If you're in Canada somewhere, hit your boy up. I'd love to help. I have a lot of systems in place that I think will help you be successful. And so those are kind of the big things that I'll have to sort of implement, I think, to get to a point where I'm elevated enough to where I could probably be a guest. And I know that might seem crazy because there are some pretty huge name guests there, but nonetheless, I do believe that could be in the future, and I will continue to push harder and harder. And if I don't get there, then whatever. I've arrived at a place that I'm much further along for having tried, right? There are some of you out there who need to understand that dynamic of, even if you don't get there, you're still further along for having tried to get there. Who gives a shit if you don't make it? I mean, honestly. So with that, though, there's a couple things that I'm going to have to do to accomplish that. One of which is I need to leverage my time more. Specifically, my time in the content creation realm. Well, actually, my time outside of the creation realm. There are things that I'm doing right now that I shouldn't be doing. And I know I shouldn't be doing. And partly it's because it's been very fun I have a cabin in Mora, Minnesota, which is about an hour and a half north. I bought it with some friends. We partnered up. We've been renovating it. Paul, who's my employee, my homie, my brother, he and I have been renovating this cabin. It's absolutely beautiful. Don't know what it's called yet because it's not officially live on Airbnb, but it's so sick. It's on a river. So much fun to renovate. Kind of like getting back into, working with tools, using my hands. It's been cool. It's also taken a lot longer than I anticipated, like pretty much everything ever. And because of that, I have not lost sight of the ball, but I keep thinking like, shit, that ball is like getting harder for me to keep track of and to sort of keep tucked away because I have this other stuff that I'm doing. My eye is still very much on the ball. I'm a lunatic. I don't think I'll ever keep my eye off the ball, but there is something about having all the other stuff that I haven't been able to. I don't want to say can't. I could have, but I wasn't prioritizing my time in this type of thing because I was spending so much of it there. So anyhow, that's a big part, right? Is I need to continue to leverage my time better and not be doing the shit that I shouldn't be doing, right? But luckily, we are a couple days away from the renovation being finished. I have Paul who can help me finish things up, and that thing will be live soon. It'll be running. We sort of have that business of things that I don't have to be super involved in, which is a beautiful thing. So once that's done, I can do that. But then I need to continue to improve my leverage, right? I've been a big fan of leverage. I'll talk about it on this channel in the future, leveraging my time in the things that maybe I'm good at, but somebody else can do just about as good, if not better than me, and I can pay them and have more time to do the things that only I can do, which mostly, honestly, isn't make videos. Is anything that requires me to be on camera, that's the thing that I can do that other people can't do. But just about everything else, people can do, right? So I need to leverage my time more. I also, in that leveraging of time, editing, that kind of thing, I will need to sort of procure or shift around administrative help to where at least I have somebody who is focusing on booking me for podcasts, masterminds, events, and that kind of thing, right? Some of that will be relationship based, right? Where I will just have to kind of go get that for myself. But some of it will just be, somebody who works for me asking the question or saying, hey, here's this guy, he'd like to be on your podcast, and there's a good chance that I'll be able to be. So there's that kind of thing. There's also video editors. Part of, I think, growing my personal brand is continuing to pump out tons of content like this, but a sort of an extra piece of it, I think, will be creating short form content based on some of this longer form content. That's nothing new, right? That's very much like the Gary Vee model. That's the literally everything model now, Alex Hormozy, whatever. Tons of people are doing that, and that's something that I need to prioritize. So hopefully that will help to grow this channel up a bit as well. I also intend to utilize, and have just pretty recently started utilizing AI like ChatGPT to just offset some of my time in writing video outlines. I don't do scripts. That's not how my brain works. I can't read aloud in a very authentic way, and I believe authenticity is huge. If it feels like I'm reading, I don't think that will be very cool. So that is part of that. But I will say, just using ChatGPT for like 2 minutes to say, give me an outline of blah, 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 has been helpful. I literally always like hack it, like chop it up to where it's almost completely unrecognizable, but it's like, hey, I don't want to think about this part of it. Will you do that? And that's been very good for that. So continuing continuing to use AI for things like that, for coming up with video ideas, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. AI, I'm here for it. I'm embracing it. And I think so far it's been quite helpful. It makes life a bit easier. And again, it's a companion to sort of my own personal brain. So I don't think I don't know. Anybody who's like thinks it's so negative, most of y'all haven't used it, because maybe it will be really smart, and maybe it will be the end of the world soon because of it. But right now it's really smart and it's very clever, but it's not that clever. So I'll also I've already started to a little bit try to use AI to process shorts, and maybe that will be a thing, maybe not. So far I haven't been fully impressed with it. I think they grab parts of a video that could be shorts, but they chop it up in a weird way, or they grab like not quite enough, and then you're like, well, that wasn't a very complete thought. So there's that. And then I also, of course, need to continue to leverage the agents on my team so they can be successful, so that I can be successful, and that they can free up more of my time so I'm not doing as much of the day-to-day that a normal agent would do, and I can continue to run the team and lift everybody up, right? A rising tide lifts all ships. So hopefully that can be implemented, and all of those things can sort of begin to roll out to where in a year I'll be speaking at that damn thing. You know what I mean? And again, if I don't make it, who cares, right? All right, I'll see you in the next video. My name is Jesse Lynch. I run the hardest working real estate teams in the game. If you have any desire to work with me on my team or on an expansion team, reach out to me at Jesse@ToTheTwinCities, or on my personal Instagram at IamJesseLynch. And that might have been one of my first of the day, and I'm pretty proud of that. So see you guys later. Bye-bye.